Hello, everybody. What's up? It's Friday, December 4th. We're about to do another Gov Seeks. Going to bring Lee Camp here in a second. Please share this out on your social media. Let people know that we are live right now. That all of that helps. I'm going to put that out. I've just put it out on my Twitter. Welcome everybody on the Rock Fan. And Facebook. Hello. Please hit the like button, of course. Great way to support the show is to the super chat. I will answer all those after Lee and I talk. Hello, Sam, Kate, our moderator. What's up, everybody? Really good smoothie today. Everybody just let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Sounds like yes. Think about a smoothie with a metal reusable straw. The straw gets really cold. All right. So Lee will be. All right. Let's do it. Ooh, brain freeze. Oh, come on. All right, let's bring Lee Camp onto the show, ladies and gentlemen. Lee.
Hello.
Hey, we can see and hear you perfectly.
You can actually hear me this time. This is a record for us.
It's really weird. I was trying to find the settings so I couldn't, just so we could have that fun again. But I couldn't seem to get it.
For some odd reason, we always cut out the 15 minutes where we try and get the sound working. We always cut that out of the podcast. And I don't know why. I feel like people really would enjoy that. They're not getting the full experience.
The full government secrets of us fumbling around. Mainly me. Let's be honest. Mainly me. But welcome, everybody, to Government Secrets with Lee Camp, episode, I want to say 19.
Episode he wants to say 19.
I think it's 19, but I'm not sure. Well, what we're gonna have a fun episode. Before we we check in, I do have a car accident update. But before we get into that, what are we going to talk about today?
I mean, that's why 70% of the people are tuning in to get the car accident update, the Leaf update.
Leaf. So here's what we're going to discuss today. Leaf update. I want to talk about the U.S. involvement in the Chinese Civil War. That's something I just learned about. What do you want to discuss today, Lee?
Oh, man, this is a big one. I want to go into all of the evidence that we did not actually need to drop the atomic bombs.
Oh, my God.
It is intense.
Oh, wow.
So yeah.
It's going to be a fun one. It sounds like.
Upbeat. Yeah. I mean, of the topics we discuss, I feel like discussing how we likely obliterated, I think, whatever it is, 300,000, 400,000 people, just for our own amusement. I think that's up there on our topic list. I think that's one of the good ones.
Wow. America, the more we do this show, America keeps getting better. You know what I'm saying? That's what the show, isn't it? What don't you every week you go, God, you know what? America really is amazing. Like
I think much like a movie, a good movie, right at the end of our podcast, like the final episode of the podcast, we're going to redeem America. It's going to be, it was good all along.
Our final secret on episode 200 or whatever will be actually America has been amazing this whole time. That's the one secret.
Absolutely.
I will say I have been laughing for a full week at unsweetened cashew milk is
I mean, that would be the most gut-wrenching CD review, album review that you could possibly get. I mean, that's a take your life album review.
That really is like I'm leaving. Not only am I leaving show business, I'm leaving this life. I've had it. And I went through this because I was like, I was going through all of the milks. And
so you're not saying you have extra time on your hands, do you, Graham? I was going through all of the milks.
I did extensive research on all of the milks this week, Lee, because I think it's important. And I realized that unsweetened cashew milk is the John Tesh of milks. If you think about it. None of the goat milk.
Who is that more hurtful? Is that more hurtful to cashew milk, or is that more hurtful to John Tesh? It's a tough call.
People who work in the cashew milk industry right now are probably fuming of what I just said. Just like, I think it might be more. Is it more? I think it might be more hurtful to cashew milk.
Oh, I think absolutely. I know that if we include this portion in the podcast, this beginning chit chat, they can't see this, which could be upsetting to them. But I think this is the most chest you and I have shown on the show.
Oh, you and I.
Which has to do with comments we got from viewers saying they wanted more chest.
Well, it was the comment, and please, everybody, if you're listening, please leave positive comments. We got a lot of great reviews in iTunes and Spotify, but one of them that stood out to me was more Burt Reynolds. And so that's how we decided to just go, kind of open collar, you know what I mean?
Open it up, free it up, yeah.
Free it up like a couple of guys on a yacht, you know what I mean? Just yachting around, cashew milking their way through the day, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, ever since the pandemic began, I decided I was going to let the chest hair grow out. I'm growing it out. Because I can't go to my guy. I can't go to my guy.
You're a chest hair guy.
You're a chest hair guy. So I got to grow it out. What choice do you have?
Chest hair guy that... couple of questions there. Don't know that we have time to get into it, but I'm glad that you have a chest hair guy.
Well, it is a government secret, so it fits on the show. It fits.
Uncovering on government secrets, Lee's chest hair guy and the long sordid history of CIA chest hair guys. It's probably a CIA Operation Chest Hair Guy or Project Wax Chest or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure the CIA has been neck deep in that. All right. Well, so let's get into first of all, Leaf update. By the way, I got some new software. I don't know if you heard the new sound effects I just added. So I've been playing around with new sound effects.
Oh, you got to pay a lot extra for those.
These are expensive.
Just to get the rights, yeah.
It's the most expensive part of our show is the sound effects. Like that right there was $5,000. That was $5,000.
$5,000 that he pays directly to the Foley artist in the other room. He's next door. Graham goes over there, slides the money under the door, and just holds a mic up to the outside of the door where the guy goes, pow, 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 pow.
Yes. Well, he used to be my chest hair guy, but so I was trying to find work for him since the pandemic. We can't do chest hair. So now he's my through the door Foley guy. Leaf update. I got a call yesterday from the insurance company. Yes, the car has been totaled. They gave it the total tag.
Nice. Good. Congrats. Your car's finally been totaled. Congrats.
Thank you. It's really, I went out to dinner. I celebrated. It was really, I bought myself some jewelry. It was exciting.
I'd like to thank all the people who got me here, who helped me along the way. I've never owned a car for 2 months, and then I just had it get totaled. So this was a big day for me. And so right now we're waiting on, and I had to finance part of the car. I put some money down. So I called my, the credit union that did the car loan, and they're like, well, once they come up with, so the guy wouldn't leave an amount on my voicemail. We played phone tag. So I didn't get we're going to give you this amount. It's just like, it's total. He was like, yeah, we're actually going to give you dollars. It's amazing.
Yes.
Just send me a signature and I'll fill in the contract.
Yeah, I really was like, and then weird that we kept playing phone tag. Like, I just can't, there's a couple of key questions I can't seem to get answered. And so somebody from another department, this is now the third department, I guess I'm getting passed off to. So there's the open the claims people, then there's the determining how much damage department, and then there's
the too busy to return your calls department. It took a while to get to them.
Then there's the we're going to cut you the smallest check possible department. And so yeah, they got it. And because technically the credit union owns the title, so we're so not out of the woods with this yet, because they have to pay off the bank, and hopefully then I'll get some left over since I put money down on this. And then the bank has to release the title after the bank gets their money for them to take the car and sell it for.
Doesn't this, even though I wasn't old enough to remember it, doesn't this make you miss like the 70s and 80s when you just handed a guy a sack of cash in a back alley and he was like, here's your new car? And that was just, that was the entirety of how the whole system worked. There was nothing else. No one had even come up with other things that have to happen.
I need to back up here. So your interpretation of 70s back alley car sales, is that what you think this is like?
I think, though, I'm assuming that's how most car lots worked back then.
There was no contracts in the 70s.
No, all this insurance on top of insurance on top of insurance. No, you could kill a guy and it was legal as long as he didn't as long as the body didn't show up on the doorstep of the police station. Basically,
yes. You're amazing that government secret hasn't been talked about. The show is Lee's interpretation is a Wild West murder spree to get cars. Very Bonnie and Clyde like. Yeah. You drove around and you shot people and you took the cars. So I wish it was back in those days too.
I do. We all do. Simpler times.
I'm guessing we have another week. Hopefully next week's episode, we will have a Leaf wrap up, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm still in the rental car. That's where we're at.
We all wish you luck, Graham.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
I mean, I think you should, maybe the next episode should just be you airing the audio of these phone calls to the insurance company.
I think we might have to do that. I think we might have to record those calls so we can have a little extra content. Well, I don't know. Why don't we go into the fun? We didn't need to use the atomic bomb.
Yeah, it's an interesting and complicated story. Because it's not just about the atomic bomb. There's a little bit of racism in there, as you might have imagined.
Yay! Secret's racism.
There's also we could have had a different president that I'm going to throw into the mix.
What?
Yeah, we were 5 feet away from having a different president, and I'll explain what the fuck that means in a minute. So I'm getting all this information from the Untold History of the United States. It's by Oliver Stone. You might have heard of him, and Peter Kuznick, and they do an incredible job. It's a great book. But so we got to back up. To get to the atomic bombs, we got to back up and figure out how did Truman end up in the spot that he was the one dropping those bombs. And, he was FDR's VP, but what happened is FDR, fading in health. He's running for his 4th term.
Right.
And they have the National Convention, Democratic National Convention, another Democratic National Convention in Chicago. Those always seem to go great.
My hometown loves a good corrupt Democratic convention.
Man, do they ever. So as they write in the book, and I'm going to be skipping around here like I'm reading from the Bible or something, but the real contest was over the vice presidency. Henry Wallace had incurred the wrath of the party conservatives by calling for a worldwide people's revolution, towards which in the United States and Soviet Union would work together. That's a quote from Henry Wallace. And what makes you think that after saying something like that, you wouldn't be beloved by the business interests of America?
I would think the war machine would be like, you, sir, have a lifetime membership. Here you go. Here's a down comforter.
Yeah. And he was also championing the cause of labor unions, women, African Americans, and the victims of European colonialism. His enemies, who knows why, included Wall Street bankers, anti-union business interests, Southern segregationists, and defenders of British and French colonialism. So basically everyone that ruled America.
All of the evil. Basically, the evil people were lined up to not like Wallace.
So imagine you've got, like, let's just say somewhat of a Bernie Sanders, although this guy, Henry Wallace, sounds much more leftist and aggressive than Bernie Sanders. But and he's on he looks like he's going to be on the ticket to run with Roosevelt, but this is Roosevelt's final term. They're not even sure he's going to survive the term. And the Gallup poll showed that 57% of Democrats wanted Wallace. So the business interests got together and knew they needed to stop Wallace from getting on this ticket because he could end up being president if he gets on this ticket and if FDR dies. So they start working on putting in a little-known, little-loved senator named Harry Truman, who in one of the polls got 2% of the vote, 2% wanted Truman to be the VP.
Now, it's weird. Real quick, it's I don't know. Something's popping into my mind of like somebody who wasn't polling well in a primary. They picked a VP that couldn't even make it to the Iowa caucus. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just grabbing at straws. But go ahead.
Someone, who was it? It was Left for Dead on his third presidential run, still hadn't won a state until the entire Democratic machinery decided they had to put him forward in order to stop the progressive.
But the most popular guy was, wanting to give people Medicare for all and some of the wars. God, I feel like this
sounds a little deja vu.
Familiar. I don't know.
Sounds a little deja vu. And here's why I don't like to read history, because you realize we've done all this before. But
it is maddening. This show mainly is like, oh, we could have had it 1,000 times better. We're still doing it the same dumb, evil way. Anyway.
Right. So, and I'll get to what happened to Wallace in a second, but this is going to come in useful in a moment. In the book, they start to go into Truman and his past and who he was. And you'll be happy to hear Truman, longtime fan of out-and-out racism. Truman actually tried to join the Ku Klux Klan. He actually sent a $10 check at age, I think, 38, I think. Sent a $10 check, which, a lot of money back then, to the Klan, but was denied membership because he wouldn't promise to stop hiring Catholics.
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, I can't blame the Klan because I was raised Catholic. You don't want to hire it. We're just bad. We're not solid employees. Always live in Lent and have dust on our head, and it's all crazy.
But I'd love to see the form they sent him, and he's like, hate blacks, check. Hate Jews, check. Don't hire Catholics. Oh. But where's the club for me?
And somewhere there's a centrist going, see, he wasn't that bad. He hired Catholics, right?
So that fact about Truman will come into play a little later. But as I said, there was a Gallup poll. 65% of Democrats wanted Henry Wallace. 2% wanted Truman. And so then the night before the final day of the convention, there's kind of an uproar in the convention where there's people, the people are demanding Wallace. They can tell that the kind of ruling establishment of the party does not want Wallace. And Florida Senator Claude Pepper realized that if he got Wallace's name into nomination that night, Wallace would sweep the convention. He'd be unstoppable to get the VP slot under FDR. So Pepper was trying to fight his way to the microphone. And back then, all you had to do was get to the mic and say the guy's name in nomination, and that was it. And so, to get it nominated, not to win it, but to get nominated. So he's fighting through the crowd to try and get up there and nominate Wallace. And at that point, Mayor Kelly realized that Pepper was almost to the mic. So he rushes ahead of him to the microphone, declares there's a fire hazard, and they must adjourn for the night. And shuts off proceedings for the evening. By the following day, the business interests had succeeded in offering all kinds of bribes to the people they needed to bribe. We'll get this done for you. We'll get that done for you. And the following day, Truman is put in as the VP.
That is not heartbreaking at all. That's just... and the thing is, too, to add to this, and I would tell people if they haven't read this book, they also made this into a Netflix series, which is where I saw it, and I would highly recommend watching it. One of the things, too, FDR wrote a letter to the Democrat convention ahead of this 1940 convention saying, don't move to the right, stay left. The reason we keep winning is because we've implemented all these lefty socialist. That's why FDR was so popular. They had to vote term limits. They didn't have term limits prior to FDR. Yep. And he said, don't do this. Don't do this. We should get Wallace. I mean, back then, the party picked it. He didn't really just get to go, oh, I want this person.
Well, and they say in here that FDR, realizing his health was fading, his power in the party was fading because they figured he's not long for this world. And he knew he needed these corrupt party bosses to win his election. So he gave in on the Wallace. He said, all right, give me whatever, VP. So he just decided he didn't have that fight in him.
That doesn't sound familiar either. Anyway.
So, all right. Obviously, Truman gets, and who knows what would have been different if Wallace had gotten in there. FDR then dies in April 1945. Truman becomes president. And then, so let's get over to the bomb. So you have, obviously, Germany was done by that point. And it's just Japan that we're continuing to fight. And they start in this book, they start going over everybody saying that Japan, not only was Japan done, but Japan knew they were done. They knew they didn't have the energy or the fighting ability to win this war. That thought wasn't in their head. And so the question is, why then did Japan continue to fight and not just surrender? And there's several pieces of very clear evidence that what was stopping them from surrendering was the fact that Truman had rushed out and the U.S. had rushed out and said that they would accept only an unlimited surrender, the surrender, unconditional surrender with no stipulations. And it seems key that the Japanese needed one stipulation, that the emperor would not be dethroned and hanged. To them, as they say in the book, that for the Japanese, the emperor culturally was nearly like a Christ figure. Right. And at that time, him getting hanged for war crimes or whatever would be the equivalent of nailing Christ to the cross. And the Japanese soldiers would rather all die, and many of them did commit suicide rather than surrender, but would rather all die than allow that to happen. So really, that was the only thing keeping Japan from surrendering, is just this term unconditional surrender. If the U.S. had said, you get to keep your emperor, we just want this war over, they would have. There's tons of evidence showing they would have accepted that. And the U.S. largely knew this. So yeah, and then they go through several letters and like cables and things that show that the Japan was ready for peace. I mean, Japan is sending all of these signs out that they're ready for peace, they're ready for surrender. They just need promises that the emperor won't be dethroned and killed. And the other note is that what they feared more than this bomb was the Soviet Union getting into the battle, because they knew that would spell their end. They knew they couldn't handle another front with the Soviet Union, and so they feared that more than the bomb. So the bomb wasn't really the actual thing, stopping them from surrendering or getting them to surrender at any point. And so then the question becomes, if they were ready to surrender, the question becomes, why, under those circumstances, would the U.S. not accept a surrender? Why would they use 2 atomic bombs against an almost helpless population that could not win this war? And in order to understand that, you have to go back to the racism of Truman and the racism in America. The Japanese were viewed differently than the Germans, even back in that time. Germans were viewed as wrong-headed and kind of horrible, but Japanese, most of the racist stuff being said about Japanese was like they weren't human. I mean, they were being called, rats and monkeys and snakes and all these things that make them a vermin, all these things that make them less than human. Go ahead.
Yeah. And then, as evident by the Japanese internment camps, to my knowledge, we didn't have many German internment camps. I mean, I'm sure German Americans were not treated well during World War II.
I actually remember hearing something about one of them. And there was some sort of German internment camp in the U.S., and they were treated better than U.S. prisoners. They were treated very well. And it comes down to that racism.
Yeah. And again, much of the Japanese internment camps was fueled by racism, and was also they saw it as an opportunity for a land grab. Japanese Americans who owned businesses and had property, we got to take, sorry, and especially in California, where there was in Northern California, San Francisco, where there was a high Japanese population, and in Southern California, and they used it to take their land, and so it was highly racist. Again, the Germans were bad, but they just need to get their minds right, where, like you said, the Japanese were just viewed as just subhuman rats. And the way they were even written in or drawn in the propaganda, right? They were always like bucktooth or looking like animals, while the Germans were just they were drawn as menacing and bad. Like Hitler was never drawn in a positive light, neither were the Nazis, but they weren't drawn subhuman, where the Japanese in the propaganda they were looked at as subhuman.
Yeah, and with the Japanese internment camps, there was no evidence that any of these Japanese Americans were somehow involved in infiltrating America, in pro-Japanese war efforts. And the U.S. just grabbed them all up, put them in awful camps, and they lost all of their property, and basically, except for a suitcase they could bring with them. I mean, it'd be like someone walking into your house saying, this house is now, whoever feels like grabbing it, that it's not yours anymore, and you're going off to this camp. They had nothing. Yeah.
Yep. And again, and then when the war ended, they had to kind of start from scratch.
So here's another, in case Truman sending a check to the KKK to try and join wasn't enough to evidence his racism. Here's a quote from I love that this is written to his future wife, and this is in a letter where he's courting her. So this is kind of a love letter, and he's just you're just looking for conversation. You just look at how do I win her over just with the daily chit chat? He says, quote, "I think one man is as good as another, so long as he's honest and decent and not an inward or a Chinaman." And goes on to say, Uncle Will says that the Lord made a white man of dust, an inward from mud, then threw up what was left, and it came down a Chinaman. He does hate Chinese and Japs. So do I. And this is perhaps my favorite sentence. It is race prejudice, I guess. You think?
Boy, there's nothing that sweet talks a lady more than just overt racism. You know what I mean? Anytime I've ever sweet talked a lady, I'm always like, hey, I'm part of the master race. Like it's just, I know. And that was so permissible. And then the Truman apologist, because I've heard this before. I heard he would throw the N-word around like nothing.
Yeah.
And then the Truman apologists always say, yeah, but I mean, his policies weren't as bad as his personal. And it's like, I think they sort of influenced it a little bit. I mean, it's like, it's not like,
Well, and these people are politicians for a reason. If he did positive stuff for, Black people in America, it was because he saw it as a useful political tool.
Right. And you think like, gee, did Henry Wallace have any of those letters? No, his love letters.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to pull the working man out and help everyday Americans. And then you and I can fall in love in a field of socialist bliss. It's
Listen, but that type of letter is not going to put many backs on mattresses. All right. Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Women hate a man that really is trying to make the world a better place. They really turn off. It's a big turn off. That's why I'm single. If I was out just saying evil shit, I'd have ladies, knocking on my door. If I was just like, yeah, I'm Alex Jones or whatever crazy shit, it'd be a different story.
Oh man, yeah. Nothing gets me harder than hearing a lady who loves her Alex Jones. I see that Alex Jones bumper sticker on the back of a car and whew.
Oh, I like a good turn-on lady. I'm like, oh, she's crazy as the day is long. I love it. This will be fantastic.
Okay, so I'm not going to go into all of the quotes and everything showing that Japan was essentially defeated. There was no reason to use these bombs. But then there also is evidence that one of the reasons besides viewing Japanese people as not as subhuman, perhaps the real reason that Truman and the rest wanted to use the bomb was to make Russia manageable and pressure Russia to show our power over Russia. Even though they were our allies in World War II, we still wanted, coming out of World War II, to just basically have our boot on their throat. And in case people need remembering, we'll probably cover this in another government secrets down the road. In case people need remembering, Russia lost 20 million people in World War II. We lost something like 250,000, I think, 300,000.
Roughly 419,000 people. If you count everybody, including the 3,000 or 4,000 we lost in Pearl Harbor, many of them civilians, we lost about 415,000 service members.
Okay, so you're saying less than 20 million.
Just a hair. Yeah, just a hair less.
Okay, so that seems to be the real reason. By the way, at this point, because at this point, the scientists who helped create the bomb knew that Germany was defeated, so Germany couldn't. For a lot of the race, or the earlier race to the bomb, was Germany's going to get it first, right. And then Germany is defeated, and we know they're not going to get the bomb, and so these scientists start realizing also that Japan is about to crumble. And they just view what this bomb could do as horrifying. So 155 scientists at Chicago's Met Lab in the uranium plant at Oak Ridge signed a petition saying not to use the bomb. It probably would have been signed by more, but they stopped it from circulating with other scientists. Reports poured in that Japan wanted to surrender. And then even General Eisenhower, when asked his opinion, said he was against using the bomb on two counts. First, the Japanese were already ready to surrender, and it wasn't necessary to hit them with that awful thing. Second, I hated to see our country be the first to use such a weapon. So that's General Eisenhower. General MacArthur considered the bomb, quote, completely unnecessary from a military point of view. And when he learned that the U.S. was going to use it, despite the fact he was very involved in fighting the Japanese, he was the commander of the Allied forces in the Pacific. When he heard that we were going to use the bomb, he found it horrifying and depressing because he said the Japanese were already defeated. So then on August 5th, we dropped the bomb.
That's my birthday, by the way.
Hey, I heard that's why they dropped it then.
Because they knew, boy, about 25 years from now, this guy is going to be just a train wreck. So let's honor his upcoming birthday.
Yeah. They were planning ahead. So it totally destroys Hiroshima. 300,000 civilians, 43,000 soldiers, 45,000 Korean slave laborers. So they drop it on Hiroshima, and then it's like, and here's a quote from the chief prosecutor of the Nuremberg trials. Quote, "The rights and wrongs of Hiroshima are debatable. They're not really, but okay, are debatable. But I have never heard a plausible justification for Nagasaki."
Right.
I mean, the idea that one was needed I suppose some people could argue some points, sure. But the idea that a second one was needed there's just no one has been able to put forward a good justification for it. And really, what I'm not getting into the details of is there was a real rush, actually, to use these bombs before Japan could surrender and before the final peace agreements with Russia about who was going, how we were divvying up the world and everything, because we wanted it to basically threaten Russia. Right. Was kind of the biggest reason, and because if Japanese aren't human, then why not see how much damage you can do?
Right. And there was also this, I remember I was taught this in history class in high school, that the Japanese said they're never going to surrender. So we would have, the argument was always made, well, we would have had to commit another 500,000, dead Americans would have had to fight in a long, protracted ground war to overtake mainland Japan, right? Because we were fighting the Japanese up through the Philippines and the Solomon Islands and all that, right? Actually, my uncle fought in the Marines in that at the end of World War II. So that was that was what we were always told, right? Again, more lies told to the American people that the Japanese were like, we're not surrendering no matter what, and we just didn't. This brought them to their knees, which obviously we know was a lie. There was communiques, like you said, of the Japanese saying, we're done. We want to surrender. We're just not giving up the emperor. And it was like, again, even if that was true, like we didn't want to commit and we didn't want to more ground, lose more American service members fighting. That, like you said, you can kind of make that argument for Hiroshima. Then there's no then you did it. You don't need to do another city 2-3 days later.
Right. Kill hundreds of thousands. And the argument that one of the main arguments they use to justify it nowadays is they say, well, and even right afterwards was, well, how many soldiers did we save by dropping those bombs? And the answer is not really, because they were ready to surrender. You really didn't save that many soldiers. And also, you needed that level of racism in order to justify obliterating so many innocent civilians. Because if you look, the book makes the argument that if you look at Germany, yes, a lot of innocent civilians were bombed, and especially there's some horrific examples like Dresden. Yeah. But mostly the majority of times that the U.S. was bombing, they were going after strategic locations or places they thought there were a lot of German soldiers or those type of things. Whereas when we dropped these atomic bombs, we knew that the vast, vast majority of those who were going to be obliterated were not going to be soldiers.
Yes. Well, the other thing too, Dresden, even again, that's more just sort of subtle lies by the United States. Is Dresden? Well, there was factories there. Dresden was a test site for the atomic bomb. They bombed it in 4 corners at the same time to create a firestorm, basically, to see what that would. They're like, we can kind of get an idea of what the atomic bomb will be. So that's one of the things why they just set Dresden on fire, was they're like, let's see what this actually looks like. Because if we hit 4 areas very at the same time really hard, it'll create this firestorm similar to the detonation of an atomic bomb. So even that was just more just like, oh, well, and even to point out the accuracy of the racism, there was some like outcry, like, wow, that's not good what we did to the citizens of Germany and Dresden. But people were like, wow, that was a little out of line with Dresden. And then nobody, not a lot of people felt that way about Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
There was a lot less. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was just like, oh, they're subhuman. So they're all crazy, subhuman people that just worship their crazy emperor. So it's all right what we did.
And the other amazing thing is, you'd think the most indoctrinated into this idea, the people that saw their fellow soldiers, U.S. soldiers, being killed in these battles, the most indoctrinated, the most hardcore would be the ones who were in the plane dropping the bombs, the generals of all of these forces at the time. And in fact, they show all these quotes. Most of the people on the planes that dropped these bombs said it was the most horrific thing they've ever seen. They're quoted as saying afterwards, as they're watching the mushroom cloud come up, that, oh my God, what have we done? We've opened the gates of hell. There's most of these people involved in this realized how horrific it was afterwards. And then they say 6 of the 7 5-star officers who received their final star. So these are the top level generals who received their final star in World War II. So it's Generals MacArthur, Eisenhower, Arnold, and Admirals Leahy, King, and Nimitz all rejected the idea that atomic bombs were needed to end the war. Almost the entirety of the top generals.
Yes. Yeah.
But of course it says sadly they didn't press their case. They more just kind of quietly have been quoted in their memoirs and things like that later saying, yeah, we really didn't need to do that. And then the final thing, I'll wrap this up with this. The book says that the person who did the most to try and stop the confrontation with the Soviet Union and the confrontation with the Soviet Union was Henry Wallace. But his part has largely been lost to history. Few people remember how close Wallace came to getting the vice presidential nomination in Chicago, which would have meant he would have been president, and how different could the world have been if he'd been president, not Truman. Would the atomic bomb still have been used in World War II? Could we have avoided the nuclear arms race and perhaps even the Cold War? It's tough to know, but there you have it. The DNC rigging the convention yet again.
It's just their long, rich history of screwing over progressives. So anybody right now thinks we can reform the Democratic Party from within. It's been going on for 80 years. So, I mean, good luck. But to my government secret segment number 3, boop, boop, boop. Actually ties in to the end of World War II and what we did. I want to talk about the Chinese Civil War. Now, we talked about it a couple episodes ago where I did the top 10 fascists that when America went into business with. Remember
yes.
episode?
Yes.
So, I want to just bring this up.
By the way, everyone, much of what we talk about on Government Secrets is evergreen. So if you're enjoying this, you should go back and listen to the old ones, because they're not going to feel old to you. They're going to feel new.
The secrets and lies of this country live on forever. So please enjoy them. So if you remember, we did the top 10. Number 7 was China. And this is something I literally didn't know.
I know nothing about the history of China.
So the Chinese, just a little back history. The Chinese Civil War actually started in the early 1920s, I believe, before even World War II started, right? So the Qing dynasty was the last dynasty to rule China, and I think it ended around 1911. And so there was a power vacuum. And you had Chiang Kai-shek of the Kuomintang and the People's Party, the Communist Party, led by Mao Zedong, basically. That was the two people that started fighting with each other. And they even worked together at a certain point, but then they started fighting with each other. And the Chinese Civil War basically, I want to make sure I get these dates right.
I believe it was 1612.
Well, it went from 1927 to 1936 and then stopped. Basically because that was when the Japanese were really starting, in the mid 30s is when obviously Germany and Japan and even Italy to some extent were really, but in Asia, that was when Japan, the Japanese Empire, was really starting to flex its muscles in 1936. So the Civil War kind of ended where they're like, well, we need to fight this problem first. And then it literally picked back up in 1945.
So they were like, let's put it on hold for this World War thing.
Yeah.
And then they get to the end of that and they're like, I remember, I fucking hate you.
That's right. Now that Japan's been wiped out due to racism, let's go. So it was fought between the Kuomintang was the KMT and the Communist Party of China, which is the CPC. And again, it was the group was led by Chiang Kai-shek throughout the Civil War, and there were several key generals. The Communist Party, of course, was led by Mao Zedong. And so what happened in 1945? So
that's actually when I lost my virginity. remember it well.
Lee Camp's virginity lost 1945.
He's older than he looks.
Lee Camp, 90 years old. So this is the crazy part, and this is when you read, like in the last segment, you read that book, that the Untold History of the United States, or Howard Zinn's book. And also Malcolm X talked about how he said this in a quote back in the 60s. Obviously, he said, like, look, during the war, China and Russia were our allies during World War II. And then the media said it was great. They made movies. There's a movie where Gregory Peck plays this Russian revolutionary that's working with the GIs, and Stalin is portrayed as this grandfatherly figure. And then the minute the World War II is over, oh, Russia's our enemy, right? Same with China. Yeah. So this is what happened. So what we did then in 1945, and again, this is our boy Truman, another great reason to love Truman instead of Wallace. Wallace, I doubt, would have done this. We had 100,000 U.S. troops fighting with Chiang Kai-shek, who was a crazy fascist. Not that Mao Zedong was some sort of, saint, but again, China was our ally. And then the minute it looks like, okay, the war's ending, suddenly
crush communism,
crush it. Yeah. Just the same way, like you said, the dropping of the bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was to put fear into the Soviets. So,
yep.
And of course, then Russia, this is our first proxy war.
Right.
Russia was backing the Chinese Communist Party. And we spent, oh my God, with American support in 1945, Chiang Kai-shek took control of China's major cities. However, the CPC was heavily funded by the Soviet Union and quickly gained support in the rural areas. So I want to bring this up. A steady stream of U.S. advisors in China warned that the U.S. aid was being stolen by Chiang Kai-shek. So we helped this guy, and he also stole from us. Fantastic. We get in bed with great people. I mean, just the Saudi family.
Turns out when you're always making deals with corrupt, murderous motherfuckers, they're often going to turn on you. They're often not going to be your buddy.
Who saw it coming? I mean, this corrupt murder. I did a deal with the corrupt murderous guy, and then he ended up being corrupt and murderous. Like
I thought he had an understanding. Truman sent him some of his love letters.
Saying, we think you're less than mud people or whatever. Why wouldn't they?
Why didn't that help?
I didn't get it. Truman's love letters. I don't get why nobody liked. They're so nice. So a steady stream of U.S. advisors in China warned that the U.S. aid was being stolen by Chiang and his cronies. Some even sold it to the Japanese. So, because Chiang Kai-shek was working with the Japanese to fight the Chinese communism, and we were now, so Japan, who we just bombed, with the most horrific weapon that 5 of 6 generals said we never should have used. It was awful. We released the gates of hell. We are now working with the Japanese. This is how crazy we got to fight communism. And just so this arm, I'm sorry. So Japan, we were just fighting them. They bombed us in 1941. We dropped the worst weapons ever. But now communism, at the end of the day, we got to line up with whomever. Like this made me, I don't know what makes me more angry, how they screwed over Wallace or the fact that then Truman is doing this, like this wave of America.
You want to believe that we must have been at war with these people because we found them so detestable and what they were doing was so horrible. And then if that's true, you don't the moment later ally with them.
I know, right? So that's the case that was made, like, and that was true, like, you know, that why. And that was also kind of what was made why we didn't hold the Japanese government as accountable as we did the Germans. There weren't really basically Nuremberg trials because the Japanese military did commit acts of genocide. They did it against the Philippines. They did it against the Chinese. And the argument was always, well, the Hiroshima and Nagasaki was sort of like, we let a lot of that go. But then also, we were working with them to fight the communists in China. Like, it's just our history. We just make allies. So anytime that's like, well, they're, you know, like Assad's a bad guy. Is he really? And the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we're okay with what they like. This has been our crazy history because it gets even worse. Right. So the U.S. commitment to Chiang continued throughout the war, his defeat by the communists, and then he moved to Taiwan. So when he basically lost, he moved to Taiwan. That's why Taiwan and China have never really gotten along. We were actually on the brink of nuclear war with China on his behalf in 1955 and again in 1958 over Matsu and Quemoy, these two small islands off the coast of China. So, like, I had no idea that any of this was happening after World War II, right? Oh, the Marshall Plan, we're rebuilding Japan, we're rebuilding Europe. Oh, but we're still fighting. And then this continues. So you talk about 55 and 58. Well, now, wait a minute. Now that gets us into the Korean War, which was another proxy war with China.
Yeah.
Like another war.
I mean, the American government was truly horrified that not just communism, but really, you know, workers like standing together was going to kind of infect America and take over America. And so there was a lot more favorable feelings towards, you know, communism and the Soviet Union after World War II, because they helped defeat Germany. So you have a lot of, the Communist Party is doing well in some of these countries. And so the U.S. was just like, you know, whoever we need to obliterate to make sure that our business elite can continue ruling the world is what we need to do. Yeah,
it's crazy. Like, China and Russia were our allies, and then immediately we flip it. And people will say, well, Mao Zedong, you know, he did a lot of oppressive stuff. Of course he did. But again, we just dropped two atomic weapons on 2 cities that didn't really need it, and to a country that was ready to surrender.
Yeah.
Who are we?
And I think that's the important thing. It's not like, we were fighting bad people a lot of the time.
Sure.
We were also allying with bad people a lot of the time. And I think the important fact is that at no point does America get involved militarily just to help people. That is like, it's never in the equation.
Right.
I mean, if we hadn't been, if it hadn't been interrupting business interests and we hadn't been attacked at Pearl Harbor, those are the things that got us into World War II, not the fact that millions of Jews were being rounded up and, you know, unsummarily executed. That wasn't what got us into the war. So it's like we were fighting on the just side, but that wasn't what got us there.
Yeah, we did not want to be involved in World War II. And we were just like, yeah, not our problem. There was that ship of Jews that were escaping in the late 30s or 1940, I forget, that was like told, sorry, we don't want these refugees, not our problem. Like,
And if we wanted to stop the gas chambers, we would have bombed the rail lines.
Right. Exactly. It's like, and so there was a lot of like, not our problem, kind of a thing.
But at least Coca-Cola changed their name to Fanta so that they could operate in Germany. So at least there was that going on.
Oh, sprinkling in some more Gov Seeks. It's just a cavalcade. So yeah, man, it's like you unpack this stuff and you really see, especially just like I said, my history teacher, and I'm not mad at my history teacher, but he's just teaching us what he was told of this, like we had no choice to drop the bomb. Yeah. And then we didn't learn. Why did we just stop? We didn't learn anything. The first I read about our involvement in the Chinese Civil War was that episode a couple weeks ago that we did. Like that, just it's unbelievable. I didn't learn about Henry Wallace till 2 years ago when I watched that Netflix special. I didn't even know who he was, and it's not a mistake that we never hear about him. We never hear about Hampton. We never hear about Eugene Debs. We never hear about any of these. We never hear the speeches of MLK. We've done episodes on MLK before of like, we only hear the I Have a Dream speech, beautiful speech, but we don't hear him talking about how awful capitalism and war is.
Yep. You don't hear him coming out against Vietnam War. You don't hear his anti-capitalism quotes. This is by design. It's not an accident that Henry Wallace is largely forgotten in history. I didn't know any of this either. I mean, my history classes in public schools in Richmond, Virginia, the most we'd get about the atomic bombs was, it was horrible, but we had to do it, and it got Japan to surrender. And before that, Japan was going to fight to the death, and we saved countless American lives by doing it. Yeah, horseshit.
Bullshit. All of it. It's just like this show. The reason why we have to joke around with each other is because it's so maddening that you realize everything we've been told in America is bullshit. And do the communists in China and other countries, propagandize their own people? Of course they do. But we can't pass an ounce of judgment. We're a 500-pound person telling somebody that's, got love handles, hey man, you shouldn't be eating those food. It's like,
listen, you really want a second cookie? Yeah.
It's like nuts. It's the guy with track marks going, oh, I think you're drinking too much, Lee. Oh, right. And a heroin addict.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the key is like, so you learn this stuff, you learn this history, you know what America's been involved in, and you start to realize that when you hear our State Department, when you hear Mike Pompeo or whatever goon Biden will put in, when you hear all these people up there and say, we've got to get involved in country A, B, or C because we need to help those people. We need to go into Syria because of chemical weapons. We need to go into Iraq because they're doing this. We need to help people in Libya. Anytime you hear that, there are always ulterior motives. Even if it were true that certain people are exploited in country A, B, or C, even if that were the case, we don't give a fuck about that. We'll probably blow up that country and leave those people being exploited. We'll let the Kurds get gassed in Iraq after we leave. We don't actually care about those things. We care about, our business interests, our central banking, our oil resources. That is what really comes down. What was a study? It was covered in The Guardian back before The Guardian became garbage. That there's a study that Western countries are something like 70 or 90% more likely to get involved in another country's, battle or civil war if there's oil resources.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, if you can butcher your own people, do whatever you want, as long as you give up your resources to America.
We'll sell you the knives to do the butchering.
Yes, good. You could eat the people. We'll live stream it. I don't care as long as the oil wells and the minerals for the cell phones keep going. Don't care.
Yeah.
But God forbid you don't give up those things. Then, man, anytime you raised your voice to one of your kids, we're going to call you a monster. Like, it's just like.
We heard Gaddafi was yelling at his kids, and so we had to go in there.
It's just, it was really bad. I mean, Maduro, I'm told he was rude to a waiter once. So that's it. You can't just
Well,
let that happen.
he's still into spanking as a form of discipline, and we are very opposed to that. So it's time to bomb that country.
Yeah, sorry, baby. Here come the drones. You can't talk that way to your kids. So, well, I think that's it. I think that's our Gov6 episode 19. Could be 20, but probably 19. I forgot to check.
And I'm going to say it's our best yet, going mainly off of amount of visible chest. So
really good. This is our best open chest episode.
Yeah.
And just a quick little thing. You're talking about, whatever cabinet state, whoever Biden puts in. I'm just going to put this, just Google, or not Google, but use ecosia.org. Don't use evil Google. Google web search Neera Tanden WikiLeaks. Just see what emails come up about her wanting to bomb countries for the resources or whatever. So just that's the all girl, female Biden diverse team of warmongering sociopaths. So that's the diversity of the ruling class that will keep the American war machine going. And that's how they trick Americans into think there's progress instead of a bunch of old white guys like Truman had. Now we have people of color that'll bomb and take resources and lie to the American people and spend money not on our own.
Graham, citizens. I don't appreciate your snark. That's called progress. All right, my friend.
It is
progress.
Oh, the people in the Middle East are going to be so excited. They're going to get bombed by women and people of color. They're so excited for it. They just
listen. Bombs shot out of a vagina have a whole different feel.
Yes.
They absolutely do.
Yes, they do. They're a completely different vibe. Well, folks, Government Secrets, subscribe, if you're a fan of one of us and new to the other guy, subscribe to both of our YouTube channels. But also, if you're listening to this on Government Secrets on iTunes or Spotify, download it. Positive reviews. We've gotten a bunch of great but all that stuff really helps. And then Lee, where can people follow all of your business?
Yeah, it's all leecamp.com. I have another podcast called Common Censored. I have a TV show called Redacted Tonight. I recommend you check out. I could give you different links for all these, but I'd say just go to leecamp.com and peruse all the stuff there. And my Twitter's at leecamp.
Sweet. My Twitter is at Graham Elwood. There's grahamelwood.com where you can join my Patreon. I also have a Rockfin. Lee and I are both on Rockfin, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's the future, since literally I'm losing subscribers on YouTube because it's owned by Google, which is owned by the CIA. Anyway, side note, but my show is called Political Vigilante. Check it out, youtube.com/Graham Elwood. So just thank you for all of that. And follow us and like and share and subscribe, and all that stuff really helps the show.
Thanks a lot, guys. I will see you soon.
All right, Lee. Godspeed, buddy.
Later, man.
Bye. Government secrets. What's up, everybody, in the super chat? We've got 313 people watching, 212 likes. Let's get the likes up over 300, everybody. Let's read a super chat. Great way to support the show is do what Sam Dean did and hit the dollar icon button in YouTube. If you're watching us on Facebook or Rockfin, you'll have to go over to YouTube to do that. Also, hold on. And then also a great way to support the show is you can go to Venmo at Graham-Elwood if you don't want to, or sometimes we're having problems because YouTube is stifling us, but if you just don't want to use YouTube, you can go to at Graham-Elwood and I will read your super chat. But Sam Dean, wow, thank you for supporting the show. Shave your knuckles for justice. Good day, Graham. Hope you're doing well, buddy. A guy named Adolf Hitler was elected to Nambia's local council elections. He promises he has no plans for world domination. That's totally true, mate. Jesus. God. Okay. I guess it's a crazy name to name a kid, but wow, is that nuts? Wow, is that nuts? Tisha T, what's up, Tisha? Shave your knuckles for justice. Shave your knuckles for justice and grow your chest hair for government secrets. Sound effects. Pew, pew. Grow your chest hair for government secrets. Pew, 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 pew. Burly chest hair. Leon Graham's man chest. Thank you, Tisha. Hello, Wan Chat, Truth to Treat, Michael, Bader. Our Joanna, our moderator, Kate, doing a fine job. Sailor Bad. Hello, everybody. What book was being referenced by Lee Camp regarding the atomic bomb? He was talking about the untold history of America. So it's written by Oliver Stone. So just look that up. Also, that they made that into a doc series. It's about 10 or 11, maybe even 12 episodes on Netflix, which I highly recommend because it goes into the whole thing of Henry Wallace. It goes into everything about America. It goes into what Russia sacrificed for World War II. It talks about this whole episode about the atomic bomb. It's a really good series. Whitney Webb was robbed. Oh God. Hello, Tangerine Hayes, Luke M, everybody over on the Rockfin. Thank you for watching on the Rockfin. Thank you and welcome to everybody over on the Facebook. Democracy Now! Covered the protests in India. Okay, good to know. Because I know there was like 250 million people went on strike in India, as what I heard, and the mainstream media didn't cover it at all. 250, that's a country of 1 billion people. So 25% of the population went on strike. So that would be the equivalent of about 75, 80 million Americans walking out of work. They did a general strike. India did it. They just said no. See how effective that is? That's why they're not the mainstream media doesn't want you guys to get that idea on how it's doable. And what they shut down, people just walked off and shut everything down and said, this is what we demand. And that's what you're going to have to do, especially after Biden gets sworn in. I'd wait, because if anyone does it now, to be like, well, it's all Trump. Just wait till Joe gets in and things will be great. When Biden gets in and keeps doing all this awful shit, that's when you do a general strike and shut it down and just say nope. Because if you don't, you're going to have Neera Tanden and all these psychopaths in Biden's cabinet. Anthony Blinken, who I made, his stepdad ties to Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, just on and on, and nothing is going to change. You're not going to get shit. They're going to give you some table scraps. Biden's going to give you some table scraps and go, see how much better we are than Trump. But you ain't going to get shit. So unless you organize a general strike, nothing's going to change. Here's the title. Indian farmers lead historic strike and protests against Narendra Modi, neoliberalism and inequality. Awesome. I will do a story on that. Thank you. Terry Stack, shave your knuckles for justice. Terry, thank you for supporting the show. Do you think the COVID pandemic is the best opportunity to organize people and rebuild the labor movement in the United States in the last century? Yeah, actually I do, Terry. I've been talking about it since the shutdown because we're seeing we've never talked about essential workers before COVID, right? We've never talked about how important a truck driver is, how important, how important someone working at a grocery store is, how important someone in an Amazon shipping center, how important they are. We've never talked about that, like as a country in the mainstream media. We've never talked about that. This is what Labor Day was supposed to be celebrating, was labor, the labor movement, labor unions. So I think this is the best time. And I'm telling you, you got to shut stuff down. Like the NBA could have, when they stopped playing and then some of the Major League Baseball stopped and the WNBA stopped, I was like, this will really get stuff done. And they did it for 3 days and Obama told them to go back to playing ball, and they did. And they could have, if the NBA would have said, no, you're not profiting. The networks don't profit. Coca-Cola, Gatorade, Nike, none of you guys are going to make a fucking nickel until shit changes with systemic racism in the police department. You know what would have happened? The billionaire owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, because it was right after Jacob Blake, which happened in Racine, which is 30 minutes south of Milwaukee, we could have pressured the Milwaukee City Council to say, we want real changes on the books now, or we're pulling out. That's what would have happened. You threatened the big cities with, we're taking our team out of this, all the money we make in the fancy stadium and all that other stuff, that it's gone. It's gone until we see real reforms. And LeBron and them had an opportunity and they buckled, man. They folded thanks to the centrist sleeping pill that is Obama. Unreal. Missed opportunity. So yes, labor now more than ever needs to say, look, man. I mean, imagine if the nurses union said, you know what? We don't get better pay and PPE. We're shutting things down. Imagine if every Amazon worker said, sorry, you want your shit delivered Amazon Prime to your door in 48 hours? We're shutting it down. All the grocery stores, we're shutting down. The Walmart workers go, we're shutting it down. We are shutting things down until we get real wages and we'll take care. And most Americans would be, but yeah, take care of these people. They're working in COVID during all this crap. Without them, without somebody, the people stocking the shelves at Walmart, without them, people working in the warehouse at Walmart, without them, there's no sorry. And Walmart has had record profits during this. Home Depot, Amazon, they've all had Target. They've all had record profits during this time. So yes, now is the time. Sam Dane, Chevy Knuckles for Justice. More fun, weird news. Czech police are seeking help in an unusual case after a deer turned the tables on hunters and snagged a pursuer's rifle on his antlers before running away. That actually happened. Awesome. Right on for that deer. We've had a few anti-lockdown strikes where I live, Barcelona, but it has not really been severe here. 2 nights they burned the garbage containers on my street. All right. This is the Indian strike story. You know what? Maybe I'll put a segment together and do it right now. Kate, can you email me that link to the Democracy Now! India thing right now? Because I can't copy and paste it off of this. So email it to me. Please. Thank you. Tisha T, you're making Gotham great again, Tisha. Why is Obama so magical? When he speaks, everyone obeys. It's unbelievable, man. He can just put anyone to sleep. It's unbelievable. Unreal. 259 likes, everybody. Boo-boo-boo. Hit the like button. Yeah, Obama, very charismatic, but yeah, he's evil. I used to think, oh, he just got taken advantage of, or he's a good guy that was trying his best and made a lot of mistakes. Now I'm like, no, man, he's fucking evil. He knew exactly what he's doing. He's so full of shit. I can't even. We got to defeat the TPP, Graham. Everyone. $269 likes. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. All right, thanks, Kate. I got it. Okay, I'm going to build this segment real quick, and then we're going to do it, and I got another segment as well. Come on. So while I'm doing that, everybody, please support the show at patreon.com/Graham Elwood. And also go to rockfin.com. Rockfin is free to sign up, just to sign up on Rockfin to watch my videos there, which all my videos that are on YouTube are also on Rockfin. Only there's no ads. So it's really cool. And then if you want the bonus content on Rockfin, it's $10 a month, and you get everybody's bonus content. You get mine, you get Lee Camps, you get Ron Placone, you get Convo Couch, you get Richard Medhurst, you get Kim Iverson, you get Whitney Webb, you get everybody. So check that out.
Democracy Now! I'm Amy Goodman with Nermeen Sheikh. As we turn to India, where tens of thousands of farmers are converging on the capital city of New Delhi. London. A recent investigative report on Nigeria is headlined, "They pointed their guns at us and started shooting. How a bloody night of bullets and brutality quashed a young protest movement." Next up, we go to India, where...
Hold on. Also, folks, make sure you hit the subscribe button. They are unsubscribing us at an alarming rate, and it's really... we should be well over 75, 80,000 subscribers. We hit 70,000 in July, and then we got over 73,000. We were about to hit 74,000, and now we've lost like 1,000 subscribers in like a month. And it's just like, it's such maddening nonsense. So and also, if you do watch the show on YouTube, make sure you watch the ads all the way through. When you click skip ad, I do not get paid. You can always unmask the fake lefties. Yes, you can. Rockfed. Boo. Absolutely correct, everybody. 270 people watching. Let's hit the like button. We have 285 likes. Let's get that over 300, guys. Let's get that over 300. Okay, that's not right. And then I've got a couple of segments to do. I just got a text from Steph. Looks like I might be on the Jimmy Dore show later because of Lee's schedule. That's why we did the government secrets earlier today because Lee, of course, is on the East Coast. All right. That's the whole show. That's not what we want. Okay. Come on, kids. Kate, Shaver Knuckles for Justice, our moderator. Show her some love. Would love to see you on Jimmy Dore show with Steph tonight. So would I. I think it might happen. Annabelle Curley, what's up down under, Annabelle? Nancy Ice Cream Fridge Pelosi tells the thousands queuing for food, let them eat ice cream. Put a Marianne Antoinette wig on her head. America is France in the 1700s. Yep. I don't think the powerful people, they've gotten away with it for so long. You know what I'm saying? They've gotten away with it for so long. They have no idea how close they are to like French Revolution stuff. I don't think they get it. They're just like, oh, we've always done this. We'll be fine. Like I don't think they don't understand it, man. 298 likes. Come on, hit the like button. Come on, like it up. Like it up. 300 likes. We got to get 300 likes. 2 more people hit it. 2 more people hit it. 299. 299. 300. So French vanilla Haagen-Dazs. Yeah, I know. We feed them. Yeah, they're so arrogant. Pelosi is so awful. Yeah, they're going to understand when the majority of the homeless people are this. 311, 312. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Yeah. Double check that you're subscribed. I randomly lost 100 subscribers in one day. Totally not joking. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching the Political Vigilante. Deep beneath Wayne Manor, somewhere in the outskirts of Gotham City, I report to you. We are making Gotham great again, telling you about stuff that not a lot of people are talking about. Now, we've talked a lot on the show how we need a general strike in this country, but the mainstream media keeps other countries that are striking pretty quiet. Remember the yellow vest thing for a year? The mainstream media barely talked about it. In France. All these other countries' uprisings, they barely talk about it. Well, they just had like 250 million people do a general strike in India. And Democracy Now! Is the only channel that I can find that's, and I wouldn't call them, they're not mainstream media. They're, pretty neoliberal at times and, some Russia gating and this and that. But they still are outside of the corporate media. So they even reported upon these farmers in India that took part of this 250 million people. They have over 1 billion people in India. So it's about 25% of their population. So imagine if 60, 70 million Americans just went on strike and shut everything down. So let's cover this. Let's because this is important. If Democracy Now! Is one of the only places talking about it, then we need to talk about it because people don't know. It's by design that the corporate media, which doesn't want to give you any ideas about a general strike, they want to keep you divided, distracted, and afraid. And good little workers, go to work, pay your bills, buy stuff, get a credit card, go into debt. Don't challenge capitalism. Don't do it. Socialism is bad and evil, right? That's the narrative from all the corporate channels. It doesn't matter, right? India farmers lead historic strike and protests against Narendra Modi neoliberalism and inequality. India, which has the second highest number of reported COVID cases worldwide, hundreds of thousands of farmers are converging in the capital in New Delhi to demand the government repeal new laws that deregulate agricultural markets. See, how often do I say this? Whenever you hear deregulate, that only benefits the 1%. It doesn't benefit the farmers or the workers, be it in India or Nebraska or South America. It doesn't matter. Deregulate only benefits the 1%. Oh, they always pitch it like it'll be better for prices and Americans and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. And when they do it in India, it's not good. The farmer's like, you deregulating, you're hurting us. Saying the reforms give major corporations power to set crop prices far below current rates. That helps the big corporations' stock prices. Right? That's how companies like Walmart operate. They buy and they force people to work for less, and they force the distributors of products to sell them for less. So then the worker gets it cascades down of how everybody gets screwed over. It's the same thing. It's the model's the same. It doesn't matter if it's agriculture or jeans or whatever. And then they always say, well, if we have to pay union wages, you want to pay $100 for a bushel of corn or what, you want your jeans to be 250. No. This just puts more money in their pockets. This just makes their stock portfolio bigger. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Record profits during COVID-19 from all these big corporations, record profits, and people are standing, starving, hungry. It's the same thing. And India has a serious poverty problem. There's a big difference between the haves and the have-nots in India. America's heading in that direction. So the farmers are like, no, we ain't having it. The farmer revolt comes as some 250 million workers across the country that took part in the largest strike in history against Modi government's neoliberal labor reforms. So he just made all these labor reforms, and 250 million people of from all different businesses and walks of life said, nope. No. That's how you shut stuff down. And Modi's pretty right-wing, man. Modi's pretty fascist. Yeah. I've talked about Hindutva before on this show. Asked the question of why Tulsi had ties to him. But I want to show you this interview that Amy Goodman did. So you can
150 million farmers, workers, and their allies recently just that deregulate agricultural markets. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi says the measures give farmers more freedom to set their own prices and sell directly to corporate buyers. But opponents say the neoliberal policies are a boon to corporations and roll back key labor and crop price protections that could have a devastating impact on the livelihood of farmers. Agriculture is the leading source of income for more than half of India's 1.3 billion population. The ongoing protests come after a nationwide demonstration Thursday when an estimated 250 million workers, farmers, and their allies joined in what's believed to be the largest organized strike in history anywhere in the world. Organizers say tens of thousands of demonstrators have now gathered at each of New Delhi's 3 borders in cold winter conditions, and more farmers are on their way. Police have put up barriers to block them from coming into the center of the city. This is one of the farmers protesting.
India is my country, and Delhi is the capital of my country. I am not even allowed to enter my capital city. This is in spite of farmers never doing any hooliganism. Our whole movement has been peaceful. They also showered us with water cannons. We were also beaten, but no farmers retaliated violently.
Today, Indian government officials are meeting with farmer representatives for a 4th time, and farmer union leaders have invited Agricultural Minister Narendra Singh Tomar to their protest site. This comes as COVID rages through India, which has reported more cases than any country in the world outside the United States. For more, we go to Mumbai to speak with P. Sainath, longtime Indian journalist, founder of People's Archive of Rural India, or PARI. It's great to have you back again. You used to write for The Hindu and you used to write for The Times of India. You're an award-winning journalist, but felt that the majority of people were not being heard and you wanted to give voice to the voiceless. Talk about this most significant protest, the largest, it's believed, the largest organized protest in world history. P. Sainath.
On the 26th of October, Amy, all the workers in the country, in many gigantic public sector units, in power, in transport, in a number of public sector organizations, and across the banks, the insurance companies, and workers from other, departments ceased work and went out. And it's interesting, they were protesting against a new set of labor codes, absolutely vicious codes that have been ramped through Parliament. But the working class out on the streets endorsed the demands of the farmers at Delhi. So it was a tremendous kind of show of unity and solidarity when millions of workers were saying, we are with the farmers. So that was one extraordinary thing. That was on the 26th of October.
I just want to add, 26th of October, we're hearing about this now a month later. I didn't know anything about this. Right? See how they deliberately keep things quiet? They don't want you getting any ideas, America. They don't want you unified. No. Here's what we're going to report on. Antifa and the Proud Boys fighting and Black Lives Matter and these militia groups and race problems. That's what they're talking about. They don't want anybody uniting. This gives Americans bad ideas. That's why, the first week of the George Floyd protests, when there were people just surrounding the White House, there was trees being set on fire. You only heard about it on social media. They didn't talk about it because they didn't want Americans to go, you know what? Maybe it's time to get rid of the White House and the Capitol building. They don't want you to get these ideas, guys.
Farmers now, I think that maybe there's 200,000 to 250,000 of them on 5 points on the Delhi border. The government approach to them is actually extremely callous and very, very aggressive. On the one hand, they're putting out some stuff for the media saying, we're talking to them. They want to solve this problem. On the other, the prime minister is making speeches in his own constituency that this entire thing is a conspiracy by the opposition. Now, if you need to know how deep this problem is biting in the farmers, as of yesterday, Punjab, which is a famous state for athletics in India, the Olympians, those athletes of Punjab who have won multiple medals at the Commonwealth, National Games, and have participated in the Olympics, are planning to throw their medals back at the government on the 5th of December. Many artists and poets and others are returning their civilian awards. So this is slated for the 5th, and the government has no sign of shame about it at all. It is trying to look like the reasonable host. At the same time, it has put up barricades, barbed wire. It has dug 10 feet by 10 feet trenches in the national highways to prevent these farmers from reaching Delhi, and have used water cannon and tear gas, water cannon in the coldest winter that Delhi has had. It had its coldest day in 70 years 2 days ago, and you're using water cannons on people, several of whom, those farmers, are in their late 60s and early 70s. On that kind of person, you are using water cannons and telling them, and you have a captive media, of course, that makes it look like the government is just getting it wrong in the way they are talking to the farmers. These are all hicks and rural yokels. They just need to be spoken to sweetly. Whereas the laws that they are protesting, Amy, are devastating.
Well, P. Sainath, could you talk about these protests in the wider economic context in India? Unemployment is now at 27%, which is unprecedented in the country. As we mentioned earlier, almost 60% of India's 1.3 billion people rely on agriculture as their main source of livelihood. In just 2 years, from 2018 to 2019, over 20,000 farmers died by suicide. Meanwhile, a billionaire, the richest man in India, Mukesh Ambani, has made $12 million an hour since the lockdown began as a result of the pandemic in March. Could you talk about the broad? Again,
same thing. The richest man in India, he's making money hand over fist while farmers are literally dying. People are dying. They've got 26% unemployment in India. Does any of this sound familiar? America? Jeff Bezos, record year. Does any of this sound familiar? Like Chris Smalls, man, I got mad respect for that guy. I hope people get behind that dude or something like that. Dude, there needs to, and I know, and I get, if you're working, it's hard to say, Graham, it's hard for me to just walk off my job and not get paid. I'm lucky I get to do this show. I get it. It's just, I just want you to see how it's tougher in India, and they're having to do this, and it's going to get tougher in America. I mean, you've got all these evictions happening January 1st. The eviction moratorium ends. Trump ain't going to do shit about it. Biden will, lip service or whatever when he gets in. I mean, look at this. Pelosi just agreed to half the money. She could have taken twice as much money before the election, but she didn't want to give that to Trump. So stupid partisan politics, these two worthless, maggot-ridden, soulless political parties that are all corrupt. You think your party's better than the other one? You're delusional. You're delusional. You think that your sex trafficking pedophile isn't as bad as the other sex trafficking pedophile. That's literally how insane you are. Because both parties have ties to Epstein. Just bringing that up. But look what they're going through. The largest. We could be a part of this. We should be a part of this. We should organize a 2 billion nation global wide general walkout, man. So, because other things that have been happening, like in France, there was a riot over banning the taking of photos of cops in France, right? So, what happened? They passed a law. They tried to pass a law. Macron, neoliberal, tried to pass a law saying you can't take photos of cops. It's illegal. And basically outlawing journalism or any citizen journalists. And people said, no way. Huge protests. Not going to happen. Barely covered by the U.S. corporate media. You watch the media, especially the local news, man, it's one great, look at how great these cops are. And there's no, I mean, I talked about this during the George Floyd protests, when there was protests on the streets in Santa Monica where I was living. I was watching the news talk about, and the only thing they talked about was how awful the looting was. Like the looting was the worst thing to have ever happened. They didn't talk about how awful, what happened to George Floyd, how awful that was. That was murder. That's the worst thing that ever. The looting is unfortunate, and I'm sorry it's happening, but the murder of George Floyd was the worst thing. They didn't talk about how the cops overreacted. They just kissed the cops' ass, talk about how great they are, and it's always a couple of agitators. And look at Modi's doing the same thing, man. He built a 10-foot trench around the Capitol in New Delhi, a 10-foot trench. He's shooting farmers in their 60s and 70s with water cannons. Sorry. Yeah, people say they're all, my parents watch the NBC and they're, the economy's recovering. The media says the economy's recovering. Or it goes, I guess the economy's recovering. What are you talking about? Record lines at food banks? We just had it. We just had record lines in food banks over Thanksgiving. And people from food banks said, we always have big lines during the holidays, which already shows you how awful capitalism is and how out of whack America is. That's just every year, not even, we don't even need a pandemic. Every year there's a long line of people needing food for Thanksgiving. What? That's in the richest country in the history of the world. But they said, we have been at holiday level demand since March. I mean, I've shown you on this show, I'm sure you've seen it on social media, record since the pandemic started. Since like back in May or June, just record lines, helicopter shots pull back. You just see a line of cars for miles or people standing in line for, I mean, so that's why we need a general strike. The corporate media keeps lying to you because they don't want Americans to get any ideas. Because of social media, the whole country went out in the streets those 2 weeks after George Floyd was murdered. And that was social media. And people were like, no, ain't having it. Millions of people in all 50 states and 18 countries around the world. That was mainly because of social media. And the regular media had to cover it, but then they started covering. Remember, after the second week of protests, that's when they started talking about, it's a race relations in America. I know we don't have great race relations in America, but they didn't want to talk about how all people of all ethnicities and all age groups were in the streets protesting together. They always just kind of left that out. So this is what we need, guys. This is what we need. We need a general strike. I've been talking about it. Everyone's been talking about it. We got to have one. I know it's not easy. I know some people are like, Graham, I don't want to lose my job. I get that. I get that. But look what happens when look what can be done. And yes, the American government and the military and the militarized police, especially under Biden, because him and Obama helped increase that. It ain't going to be nice. It ain't going to be pretty, but we got to shut stuff down. That's the only way they're going to wake up. Because, oh, wait, we voted for Biden. Yay, Trump's dead. And now watch Biden just fill his cabinet full of Neera Tanden and Heidi Heitkamp and Anthony Blinken and John, just all these awful people. So I'll keep reporting on this because not a lot of people, it should be front page news on every major media outlet in America and the world for that matter. The largest strike in the history of the human race took place in India. 250 million people. And Democracy Now! Is the only one covering it. And now this show. Thanks for watching, everybody. You're making Gotham great again. You're all political vigilantes. Shave your knuckles for justice. Boom. Annabelle Corley. What's up, Annabelle? Capitalism destroys countries like India. The gap between the rich and the poor is cataclysmic. The poor literally have nothing because of the class system. Oh, I know. You're seeing it. It's all these neoliberal bullshit policies. When Amy Goodman talks about neoliberal policies on her show, I wish she would go after Obama more. You know what I mean? Annabelle Corley, shave your knuckles for justice. Something in me wants to have Nancy over for tea and feed her tinned food instead. I get that. Jim Garrison, what's up, Jim? Here's a 10 spot. Thank you so much, Jim. Shave your knuckles for justice. 360 likes. Let's get the likes up there, kids. Capitalism is a crime. Yes. Yes. I'm surprised other lefty shows don't cover these things. I don't know what to tell you. Hit the like button, everybody. I'm going to do one more segment. Thank you, Sailor Man. Thank you, Stephen Running over at the Facebook. Graham, you give me the real news. I'm trying. I watch the corporate media just to see what bullshit they're pushing. Just to see what and there's a lot of times I watch Democracy and I'm like, wow, this is so neoliberal. But she has like Brianna Joy on there. And Democracy Now! Not perfect, but better than the corporate news. It's a little NPR-ish in some of its neoliberalism, but they're trying. Yeah, are they real lefty shows or apologists for the DNC? If they're apologizing for the DNC, they're not real lefties, that's for sure. Yes, Monday nights I do a Rockfin Premium. If you're a Rockfin Premium member, I do a exclusive live stream Monday nights at 8 o'clock Pacific. Rockfin, if you go to rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and endorse my channel, it's $10 a month and I get residual income. So you pay $10 in US currency a month, they convert it to crypto, and that's how they pay all the content creators. So anytime you endorse my channel, subscribe to that and like my videos, and then any video of any other content creator that you watch when you're a $10 premium member on Rockfin, they get some residual income. So just watching a video and liking it, you're helping out all the shows you probably like and watch anyway. And if you're not, but like Lee Camp's going to start posting there. Jimmy Dore already does. Dave Anthony from the Dollop is going to be posting. Ron Placone and Convo Couch and Nico House and Kim Iverson. We've all been on this platform for a while. So Whitney Webb's been on there now. She's doing awesome work. So check that out. Progressive. Good to see you out here, my friend. Haven't seen you in a while. Shave your knuckles for justice. Show request, moderator Kate interview. Oh, Kate. We're going to have Kate on the show now. Done deal, Progressive. Graham, read my chat. I'm giddy. Oh, I see. Yeah, Richard Medhurst is also on. How about I get to pick a guest? Oh, Kate doesn't want to be interviewed. That's cool, Kate. If you want to pick a guest, if you'd rather do that. Sorry, Progressive. We tried. Yeah, Kate, you tell me who you want to interview. We'll make that happen. Every one of the reasons Roman Empire fell is occurring, repeating now the American Empire. Yep. Who wants to give me odds the U.S. will make it to 300,000 COVID deaths? Ugh. Sadly, I don't think we're going to be under 500,000 when it's all said and done. A year from now, I think it's going to be closer to 500,000, which is awful. Yeah, Whitney Webb's YouTube channel, the Unlimited Hangout, got taken down. That's why she's on Rockfin. So, all right, let's do another segment. Boo, 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 boo. Hold on. Hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed. Boom, boom. Hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. Share this out on your social media. Bob, shellac-a-lack Bob. Bob, out go the lights. Urge to grab Elwood. DC Thomas, what's up, DC? Shave your knuckles for justice. Are we about to see a republic going to empire with an emperor, martial law, etc.? VSR down low empire withering into socialist has been Austria. I mean, we definitely are an empire collapsing. I mean, that's for sure. And when the evictions start, you know, there's 28 to 30 million looming evictions. 19 million of them are going to start like after the first of the year. So I don't know. I mean, you keep thinking, well, they got to do something. They're going to, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Biden will pass some stimulus or whatever, but it'll just be, at the most, it'll just be little Band-Aids, little table scraps. And America, I mean, if there isn't just a full-on collapse, America's just going to limp along, just slowly sort of deteriorating. But yeah, the U.S. is too fickle to organize and strike. You might be right. You might be right. All right. All right, let's see. Annabelle Corley, JV. Dear Lee Camp, macadamia milk is delicious. Maca milk is known as it's known. Maca milk as it's known in Australia. Unsweetened cashew milk, the John Tesh of milks. This made me laugh so hard. Goddamn Lee. Lee makes me laugh so hard. God, I laugh so hard with Lee. Kate shaving her knuckles for justice. Politicians must just laugh about how little they do for us and how we don't fight against them, the people who are supposed to represent them. I know they must just like, they're like, the American people are idiots. I just say this to my base, they'll go along with it. Right? A Democrat, I'll just say this to my base. Say some identity politics, they'll love me. First ever woman, blah, 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 they'll love me. Republicans say, yeah, I'll just say I'm going to, the Democrats are going to take your guns and they'll go for it. I'll just say I'm going to keep your guns and they'll go for any dumb bullshit I tell them. They sit there, the Republicans and Democrats, and just talk about how easy it is to sucker their own base. You know it. You know they do. They're so dumb. The Democrats like, just put a rainbow flag on it. They'll buy anything. And the Republican laughs, I know what you mean. We just say, put an American flag and an eagle on it. They're suckers. I'm sure they just sit around and laugh. Kate uses hand sanitizer for justice. That's good business. All right, here comes a segment, kids. Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you're watching the Political Vigilante. Vegan guns on tap, making Gotham great again. As that graphic comes up, so comes up these glorious vegan guns. Great way to support the show is do what Jasmine Mann has done and go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood, where you can submit articles like this. If you're at the $5 submit a topic level. It's a popular one. It's limited, so you got to wait for a spot to open up. But Jasmine has been submitting great stuff to us every month for a while, and this month is no different. So Instagram could face up to $500 billion in fines in class action lawsuit alleging it illegally harvested biometric data. Well, I find that hard to believe, Jasmine. Instagram, owned by Facebook, just does fun stuff. They do fun. So this is one thing I would say to the anti-maskers. Okay, because when you wear a mask, facial recognition doesn't work. It doesn't work. Be careful. So in the article, we've got a new lawsuit accuses Instagram of collecting people's biometric data without their consent in violation of a state law. Oh, what? Of course they do. Of course, they get all of our data, and data is what it is now, right? That's what it's all about with social media and anybody. They just collect data, because what they have on data, they can sell. They can see your shopping habits, what you like, what you don't like, your dating habits, your whatever, your travel habits, what you eat, right? You're taking photos. Oh, I'm at my favorite Thai restaurant. Oh, they're going to like. So that data is very important. So they sell it. And they've always just sort of said, oh, we just use it for marketing. And people, in surveys, people say, well, they like targeted marketing. And most people would be, yeah, like, oh, I'm a surfer. You send me some ads about surfing. Okay, that's cool. I like that. But it's more nefarious than that. We know that. It's not just, oh, we want to get you the products. We don't want to sell Graham stuff about eating meat because he doesn't eat meat. There's a way. It's better for everybody if I'm marketed vegan stuff. But they sell it and they work with the intelligence community. I'm going to get to that in a second. Last month, Facebook, who owns Instagram, offered $650 million to settle a similar lawsuit alleging that Facebook photo tagging collected biometric data without the user's consent. Facial recognition, that's just like, oh, Apple is now taking your thumbprint because, oh, you open your phone up with your thumb. So now Apple could be selling your fingerprints. You can't do that. Oh, did you donate blood? Oh, we're taking your blood sample and selling it. Now we know what your blood type, wait a minute. It's one thing, we need that information anonymously just to get what the population, but that's not what's going on. Under the law, Facebook could be faced to pay up to $5,000 per violation for as many as 100 million Instagram users, totaling $500 billion at most. Hey, man, I'd like to get $5,000 from these mopes. We should all, if you get something in the mail about this lawsuit, follow it all the way through. Get your money. Stick it to them. They're awful. Zuckerberg's a piece of shit. He built a wall on Kauai to block out the ocean view because he wanted it all for himself. What a maggot. A Facebook spokesperson called the suit baseless and said Instagram does not use facial. Are we this dumb? They think we're this dumb. They think you're really dumb. They are. Oh, why would they use facial recognition? Of course they're doing it. God. The new class action suit, Instagram lawsuit, seeks damages for as many as 100 million Instagram users under Illinois law. Right on, my home state. Facebook could be forced to pay $1,000 to $5,000 per violation, meaning the full damages could reach $500 billion if Facebook is found responsible. And they are. If you live in Illinois, petition your lawmakers there to say, yeah, Facebook's guilty. I had my shit stolen. I want my $5,000. Look, I'm all for anything that sticks it to a big corporation when they have to pay a big lawsuit. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But remember this from a couple years ago? Just when Facebook's like, this is a baseless claim. We're just connecting people who want to do fun groups. Like you have an outdoor soccer club, meet people to play the soccer in your town. You like cooking? We help with that. We're not mean. We're not bad. We don't work with the CIA. Senate hearing, Facebook CEO Zuckerberg is questioned on ties to CIA-funded company back in 2018. There's no way. anyone can look me in the eye and tell me that after these social media companies collect all this data, that the intelligence community doesn't go, hey, we're going to need that. And then they don't just go, sure. Right? Remember, Jeff Bezos was paid $600 million. Amazon was paid $600 million to just hold servers for the CIA, just a contract. Oh, it's just contract work. The CIA needs servers. Why? To hold all of the information they keep on all of us. You know, Amazon that owns Whole Foods, that Jeff Bezos that owns the Washington Post, a very pro CIA. That's also part of that deal is, hey, make sure we get some good press. I bet you put anything on Facebook really, really calling out the evils of the CIA, they take it down. Like Lee Camp, who I do government secrets with. He's told this story numerous times. He had a huge Facebook fan page, hundreds of thousands. He built up this big following because he's on Redacted Tonight. He's a well-known comedian. He's got a late night TV show. Oh, and suddenly Redacted, RT is a Russian interference. So then they stifle his numbers because the CIA told him to do that. Planeteer, a data mining company which received early funding from the CIA. So a data mining company gets money from the CIA, and the co-founder, billionaire Peter Thiel, who sat on Facebook board of directors since 2005. But I bring this up, I connect these dots from two articles. I'm a conspiracy theorist. We know from the book, when WikiLeaks met Google, Julian Assange recorded all these conversations with the heads. I think it's Eric Schwartz, CEO of Google, and did research after he met with them, showing that Google has been working with the CIA. The CIA needs data, so they're going to get it from the big ones: Google, Facebook, which owns Instagram, Twitter. And the guy, come on, like, how hard is this to connect? And how come Rachel Maddow can't just read these two articles and connect these dots? How come Rachel Maddow can't do this? How come no one at Fox News can make this connection? How come nobody over at CNN can make this? Nobody? Wolf Blitzer, Joy-Ann Reid, Chuck Todd, Hannity, any of these idiots? None of them? None of them? Just me. Thiel contributed over $1 million to the Trump campaign and chipped in $100,000 for his inauguration, according to the Center for Responsive Politics. I took this out of I wanted to show you this from the article. One, that's a fact, it happened. Two, I want you to see that any liberals who are like, Trump is stifling, he's an oppressive. Yeah, of course he is. But then when Zuckerberg gives this information to Obama and now Biden, you're okay with it, right? When the Democrats infringe upon your personal freedoms and rights and surveil you, you're okay with it. It's just like Republicans did the same thing, right? When the Patriot Act was signed by, George W. Bush, it's for our security. And then when a Democrat gets elected president, conservatives are like, they're going to take our guns or whatever. All of our freedoms got taken away decades ago, but mainly with the Patriot Act, which was signed into law by a bunch of Republicans and a bunch of Democrats and is continued. The Obama administration kept it going. The democratically controlled Congress just voted last year, to extend the Patriot Act. You see, I just want you to show how the intelligence, that's the permanent state. We're shown, there's a Republican president and a Democratic president. It was so different in America. It's the same thing. The CIA and the permanent state never changes. This guy gives money to Trump. Zuckerberg gives money to the Democrats. It doesn't matter. It's so they keep your power and keep your data. Go. Boom, 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 bong, burn, bring, bong, bow. Political vigilante. I got to laugh because it's so ridiculous. And no one can make these connections? Like only on YouTube? The corporate media is paid to hide these connections from you. They're not dumb, bumbling. What? They're no, don't talk about this. That's why you watch the corporate media and they'll have, this intelligence expert, former CIA. They have CIA operatives on their goddamn shows. It's like, to my knowledge, I've had one, and he was a CIA whistleblower, John Kiriakou, who took a ton of shit for calling out the CIA, and he came on my show. That's who I've got. So thanks for watching the show, folks. Thanks for coming here for the truth. Thanks for making Gotham great again. And thank you so much for shaving your knuckles for justice. Boom. What's up, everybody? 426 likes. I love it. Let me get all these super chats in there, folks. I got to wrap it up here soon. Free Assange indeed. Free Julian Assange. Melissa H. Shave your knuckles for justice. All empires fall through war or self-destruction. Both, usually. They spread themselves too thin economically and with their military, and that's what's happening here. Annabelle Corley, what's up? Shatner sings Television Drug of a Nation. I don't know if I know that song, but I can sing it as Shatner. U.S. passed decriminalization of cannabis bill today, and the UN rescheduled cannabis bills all this week. Well, that's good. Andrea Rosario Gabore, Shaving Knuckles for Justice. Thank you for supporting our show. I tell everyone I know that nothing about social media is private, and it's true. It's true. And thank you for the bigger donation. I really appreciate it because there's a lot of people out there who aren't working or whatever. So when you do the bigger donations, if you can afford it, you're paying for people that can't, and I appreciate it. So thank you so much for supporting the show. And I always say this every episode. Anyone out there who's struggling financially, don't worry about it. The ways that you can support what we're doing here that don't cost you any money, just a little bit of time, not even that much. Hit the like button, sharing it on your social media, especially all my clips, share those and make sure you like all those clips when you watch them. Make sure you're subscribed. Watching the ads on YouTube all the way through. When you click skip ad, I don't get paid. Signing up on Rockfin is free just to watch on Rockfin. And like listening to my comedy albums on Pandora. So I get paid every time you listen to on Pandora. They take care of the artists. So I have 2 comedy albums. There's a Graham Elwood Pandora channel. So it plays tracks from two of my albums and other comedians. If you like listening to stand-up comedy, it's free. On the Pandora free one, you got to listen to an ad every once in a while. But when you like my comedy tracks, I get residual income. All great ways to support the show. So I really appreciate it. And Andrea, man, it's good you share that with your friends to tell them that. They all think, oh, it's just, yeah. And they share our data with the intelligence community. It's crazy. Annabelle Corley. Ba-boom, 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 boom. Is Zuckerberg small man syndrome on steroids? Could be. I'm waiting for Buttigieg to come out of the wine cave for intelligence. Oh, just wait. I hope everything's good down in Melbourne. Miss Hendricks, what's up? How you doing? I really resent how QAnon has moved conspiracy theories to the far right. It's a psyop to thwart us lefties. Yeah, of course. It's another thing to keep us divided, QAnon. And to put like 70% of they're 70% right, but the rest of it is like crazy nonsense. To then, if you have a real like you bring up some real evidence, like this is a fine example. Like anytime I talk about like the Clintons' involvement with Epstein, the flight logs. Hillary was on twice, flight log show. Bill Clinton on 26 times, flight log show. Eyewitness reports and video and film footage of them going to his compound in New Mexico. But you bring that up to a vote any blue will do person, and they're, oh, Graham's a QAnoner. He's one of these Epstein QAnoners. No. They're like, well, what are Trump's ties? Well, Trump has a bunch of ties as well. See, then you're already deflected me now. I'm lumped into the QAnon crazy category. It's the same thing with the QAnon people. They bring up all the Epstein ties to the Clintons and Democrats, and you go, yep, all true. And here's the ties to Trump. Nope. See, now we're divided. We're arguing over, we're not calling out, which is by design. Maria Farmer said this. Anything they can do, even debating was, did Epstein kill himself or is he still alive? She goes, even that debate keeps us off of the true targets, which is like Les Wexner, Trump and the Clintons, like all of the powerful people, the British royal family, the Saudi royal family. Like it takes all of we're not talking about these really powerful people that are doing this and how is this allowed to happen because they control everything. We're not talking about that. We're arguing about this little thing or that little thing. Such a good point. Progressive, shave your knuckles for justice. Has Shimshay weighed in on the pulling Biden left yet? Does he karaoke? He blessed my Thanksgiving dinner, artist formerly known as Shimshay. Yeah. Snowden recommends Trump to free Assange. I would love it if Trump did that. I would love it if he did that. Stizef, shave your knuckles for justice. Super sticker. Thank you so much, Stizef, for supporting what we do. 441 likes. Outstanding, everybody. And like I said, when you do the big donations like that, you're helping people who times are tough. So thank you so much for doing that. Stizef. I asked my friend who knows Secret Service people, and they said nothing for Assange or Snowden. Yeah, I know. Is Joe Biden Gerald Ford circa 1975? Yes, but with more cognitive decline. Yeah, Trump is a Rothschild puppet for sure. Yep. All right. All right, let's sing a song here. We've been going for over 2 hours. All good in Melbourne. It's summer and no COVID for 30 days. Oh, see, when they lock things down and everybody wears a mask and nobody argues about it, they get it done and now they can start to go back to life. Oh, weird. Starting to do comedy shows in Australia again. I'm like so jealous, man. Free Baby Yoda. Hold on. Let's do. All right, let's do. Wait, what was the song? Drug of a Nation. All right, let me get that. Let me pull that up. Might be tough to find a karaoke version of this. Yeah, there's no karaoke version of this. Sorry, Annabelle. You have another choice? Yeah, the Disposable Heroes of Hypocrisy, which I love them. Yeah, I can't seem to find. Not sticking around for a song. Got some things to do. Good night, Kate, Snork, Truth is Read, Holly, Graham, and everyone. Thank you, Melissa. You should upload some karaoke videos to YouTube. They always hit me with copyright shit when I do that. So that's why the karaoke videos are all exclusively at Rockfin. So all my karaoke is at Rockfin. If I put them on YouTube, they fuck with me too much. So I can't. Another reason Rockfin's awesome. All right, Annabelle. That can't get that song, so we could do. Do you believe vaccines will save the world? Can you address it? Yeah, I don't know about these vaccines. I'd love for there to be one, but I'm leery of one that's rushed the market so quickly. Yeah, I'm leery. All right, let's do. What Shatner do you want me to do, Annabelle? Because I can't get this. There's no karaoke for that Drug of a Nation song. Burn, Hollywood Burn as Shatner. Oh, that's not on there either. Weird. Huh. Just so that you were live, hope I didn't miss too much. I'm about to end soon, but one of the things I do after my live streams, I put them on the archive. Live streams are all available. If you're a Patreon backer, the audio is $5, the video is $10 a month. at patreon.com/Graham Elwood. And if you on, it's all available also on Rockfin, and Rockfin is a premium membership for $10 a month. So you get access to all my bonus content on Rockfin and everybody else's. So that's where they, all right, let's do how about Dead Man's Curve by Jan and Dean? But as Shatner. Let's do that.
All right, so
I'll start.
Oh.
Nope. God, why is this so hard? These songs all of a sudden are really tough to find. Oh, how about Little Old Lady from Pasadena?
It's the little old lady from Pasadena.
They're not doing the lyric. I can't. Wow. Surf City, USA, Jan and Dean. I'm going to do this as Eddie Vedder. I know I've switched like 10 times. No karaoke version. That's a crime. I'm out. Wow. That was Darien, Love is a Battlefield. Oh, okay. You got that one. You got that one. There you go. I'll turn the music down because it was too live last time. As Darien, you got it. Sunshine. Hey guys, Darien here. I hope the volume's good for everybody. Like, tell me if it's not. Just want everyone to know that, like, you know, just going through some relationship stuff. We are young, like heartache to heartache. And we totally stand. And like, if you have sore knees and don't want to stand, that's totally cool. There's no promises and like totally no demands, but like thoughts and battlefields. Love is a battlefield, you know, like it totally is. And even though like Ryan and I are still friends, he's amazing, we're strong, and no one can tell us we're wrong. And it's just like searching our hearts for so long, like both of us totally knowing that like love is a battlefield. So like thoughts and loves. And like I totally want everyone to understand that. Like you've got to just be true to yourself. And you know, like, so Ryan and I didn't get along, but now it's like he's begging me to go. You're making me stay. Like it was like, why do you hurt me like so bad? Like, oh my God, like heartbreak, hashtag heartbreak. I would help to know, like, do I stand in your way? But, or am I like the best thing we've had? Like, it's so crazy. And like, believe me, like, I can't even tell you why. Like, I don't even know, but I'm trapped by your love and I'm totally chained to your side. And not in like a jail way, but like in the love way. So we're young and like heartache to heartache. Oh my God. Hashtag we stand. Thoughts and stands. Thoughts and heartaches. No, totally no promises. No demands. Like, love is a total battlefield. And I'm not like shaming battlefields, but we really need more peace. Like, oh my God. We're strong. Like, I'm strong. Oh my God, I know you're strong. Like, no one can tell us we're wrong. So it's like searching both of our hearts for so long, both of us knowing like that. Love is a battlefield. Oh my God. Like, so like, it was weird because like, you know, Rain and I went through what we went through, and then like Chad called me, and it was like, when I'm losing control, will you turn me away? I said this. Or touch me like deep inside. And I know that sounds kind of sexual, but I think you know what I'm saying. All of this gets old. Will it still feel the same? There's no way this will die. Like, amazing. We've been dating for like almost 4 weeks. Like, we almost had our 1 month anniversary, and then we like started fighting. And I was like, oh my God, what is happening? It's been like a month. Like, this is not us. So if your heart surrenders, you'll need me to hold. We are young. Heartache to heartache. We stand. Like, and I'm not like saying we should have heartaches, but that just happens. And so I'm not shaming people that don't have heartaches, but like, there's no promises, no demands, because love is a battlefield. Like, oh my God, we know that. But you've learned, and you like, we are strong. I put this on my Instagram. Nobody can tell us we're wrong. So your love should be able to withstand like a total Instagram meme. Searching our hearts for so long, both of us know it. Like, you know it. Oh my God, I totally know it. That love is like, oh my God, like such a battlefield. Like one of those war places, like battlefields. You know what I mean? Where there's like total like war places or wherever, like where they have all those wars. Like, I think like, I don't know, Istanbul or one of those eye countries, like totally has all those wars. Like, oh my God, it's so bad. I hope we don't have one of those. Like I don't want to fly around on one of those like aircraft carriers or whatever, like having some sort of love battle. Like, I don't want that at all. Like, let's just get along. Let's just, you know, go get just smoothies or something. We're young, like heartache to heartache. We stand. Like, let's just get boba teas and stop fighting. Like, wouldn't boba teas make everybody start fighting? Like, wherever they're having fighting, like in Canada or something. No promises, no demands. We're totally strong. And no one can tell us we're wrong. I like this guy, Pat Benatar, sang a lot. Like, his song's long. Searching our hearts for so long. Both of us know it. Like, totally know it. And that's when we knew it was real, when we sent a text saying that. So, oh my God, you guys. The song made me a little emotional, but it's totally okay. Thoughts and loves, you guys. I hope your relationships work out. Whatever you're doing, make it work. Especially if you've been together a long time, like a month or, oh my God, like 6 weeks. Like, oh my God, that's so long. You have to make it work. Try. Do it. Love is a battlefield.
Oh my God!
Oh no, there's so many crazy things. These guys are saying crazy things. Oh my God, you guys. Thanks, guys. Darianne just giving it tips on dating and love, and totally don't have to like open your heart and make it work, because everything should work out if everybody's nice. Like, just go get a boba tea rather than fight. Thoughts and boba teas, you guys. There you go, Annabelle. The song was written for Darianne. I know, it was totally written for Darianne. All that great music from Australia, and they only have the population of 4 Iowas. Well, that's good. They need to keep it small. Thank you guys so much. You saw my appearance on Jesse Lee Peterson. Oh boy. 471 likes. Annabelle Corley. Shave your knuckles for justice, Annabelle. Darianne, love is a battlefield. It absolutely is. Thank you, everybody, for supporting the show. If you missed Government Secrets, it'll be up on Monday. We usually drop it on Monday on my YouTube page, on Lee's YouTube page. And then if you just want to listen to the audio of it, it's an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and other places you get podcasts. So make sure you listen, download, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Probably I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday off. I tweaked my back. That's why I didn't go live the last 2 days. And I had to go to the chiropractor, and I did yoga today, and it's feeling a lot better. But so probably won't. I'll definitely go live Monday night for Rockfin at 8:00 Pacific. I don't think I'll go live Sunday. But have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks everybody in the chat. Thank our moderator, Kate. Have a great night. You're making Gotham great again. You're all political vigilantes. Follow the money, connect the dots, go for the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Bye-bye.